TJ Watt, Daniil Hunter, Khalil Mack, Trey Hendrickson, Josh Allen. All right, those are the top 5 in sacks currently. All those guys might not even make the playoffs. The teams there, Steelers, Vikings, Chargers, Bengals, Jaguars. Josh Allen's the only one that's his team's in the playoffs right now.
Wow.
So that's pretty unbelievable when you think about the amount of defensive talent out there. A lot of those guys aren't playing for a playoff team.
Steelers.
So what I think about, if I'm, voters, stuff like that, and if narratives, quote unquote, matter, because I think it does to some voters, you mean to tell me that the best team in the league and one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league, and that stud and Fred Warner, he's not going to get some consideration? I understand it's sexy if we don't have, an eye-popping interceptions or eye-popping sacks. Like, we can't. Why can't it be all the body of work, Bonte? Why can't it be the linebacker for the best defense in the game right now? Why can't it be that?
I'm with you.
And I understand people are looking at yesterday and it's like, oh, well, he missed some tackles, stuff like that. He had an off game. All these guys have had off games. There's been multiple times this year where a TJ Watt or a Myles Garrett or someone didn't have a sack. That happens. But I'm looking at Fred Warner. He should be up there in consideration. He should be up there right at the top. If we're going off narratives and being the best team in the league matters and being the best defensive player, being the leader of that defense, I think it should be Fred Warner right now for Defensive Player of the Year. And I look at the odds. He's all the way down at plus 7,500. I just don't get that. Montez Sweat?
How many people are in front of him right now?
And the odds, so this is via DraftKings. So you got Micah Parsons still as the odds on favor. He had a stinker yesterday. See, that's what I'm thinking there too. Then you got Myles Garrett, plus 185. The Browns, give them credit. The Browns have been balling. And Joe Flacco now is taking over. Like that defense has been balling.
Yep.
So that's going to matter there for the narratives if the Browns end up going to the playoffs. Then you got TJ Watt, Deron Bland. Are you serious? I know the pick sixes, but seriously?
They just got torched yesterday.
Come on. Josh Allen, then Nick Bosa's ahead of. Can you believe that? Nick Bosa's at plus 4,000 right now. That's 3,500 better than what Fred Warner is at plus 7,500.
Yeah, I don't. Fred Warner, 116 tackles.
Like, that's wild to me.
We just had the stat last week. Lubman gave us the numbers. He's had 6 straight 100 tackle seasons. Fred Warner, it's the most in 49ers franchise history. He's got 2.5 sacks. He's got 4 interceptions. All right, he's got 4 forced fumbles. He's got 5 tackles for loss. He's got 75 solo tackles. I'll tell you how he could get DPOY, how we can open up some eyes. You'll ball out Monday night against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. You tackle him in space. You hunt him. You hunt him. You hunt him. You hunt him. You QB spy, and you hunt Lamar all night long. And you make up for what happened in 2019 when the Ravens ran the ball down your throat in that rain-soaked game
I remember that.
against the 49ers. It was a great game.
Yeah.
They lost it, but they had their way, the Baltimore Ravens, at the line of scrimmage.
Did they win it on Justin Tucker field goal?
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
Yep. 20-17.
God, he's so good. He's a Hall of Famer too. But to your point, a lot of eyeballs. That's going to be
a lot of
Christmas
eyeballs.
night. You're eating your food. You're eating your prime rib, whatever
East
you're having.
Coast viewers.
Everyone's going to be chilling on their couches watching the game of the day. Not NBA. It's going to be that one.
Yeah, that will be that one. After the Warriors and Nuggets at 11:30.
There you go. Right here on 95.7 The Game as well.
There you go.
You're home of Golden State Warriors.
Flagship station, if you forgot.
Tim Roy.
You ball out in that game, and you play the Commanders out in D.C. a week later, and you ball out then.
You might have another primetime game, too. We're looking at that last one against the Rams. That could be a win in their in scenario for L.A. So that could be flexed to a Sunday night potentially. And then, again, more eyeballs is what a player like a linebacker needs. Because you just look at the gaudy numbers after it, he might have a sack here or there. He might have a pick here or there. But if he doesn't, then you're just looking at, the tackles, the solo tackles. I just do think it's a little unfair when we look at the end of games and end of seasons, just like, all right, who has the most sacks?
Right.
All right, who has the most picks? It's like, can we do better than that?
Yep.
Can't we? It's more nuance is what I'm trying to say.
It is a lot of nuance.
More men of nuance. All lost Matt Steinmetz.
Bland didn't get torched yesterday. You're right. He got torched against DK a couple weeks ago.
He did. He had a pick in that game, though, too, but he got torched.
He got torched. Come on. Bland, DPOY, stop. Miss me with that.
It's a bland choice is what I'm trying to say.
Speaking of corners, John in San Jose wants to touch on Charvarius Ward. Who's playing some better football. John, what's happening?
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I definitely want to touch on Charvarius Ward. We've been talking about how the defense may have not been at its best yesterday, but Ward was a huge bright spot. He got 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. He's absolutely been worth it. And, we've been talking a lot about Fred Warner maybe not having his best game, but he was also the one clogging up the middle of the field to take care of that running back who's trying to take advantage of our two best defensive linemen being out. So let's not forget that, he's taking on those running backs and those offensive linemen during one of probably the toughest game in the season for a middle linebacker trying to stop the run. So they've both been fantastic. Warner is definitely the Captain America of that offense. You talk about Brock Purdy leading the offense, but, man, Warner has been running that defense, telling everyone what to do, making adjustments, and he's leading the best defense in the league. So, I'm always been a Warner supporter. Rodgers had it right years ago when he said he was the best in the game, and I'm just a huge fan of the way the team's playing today.
Yeah, no doubt. 45 points yesterday. Look, the defense didn't have their best day. They'll tell you that. They will tell you that.
Warner's the Hulk.
Yeah, Warner. Here's Warner.
Warner's the Hulk. My bad.
Yeah, Warner's the Hulk.
Flag on me. If we're doing the Avengers.
Oh, yeah, you'd have him back on.
Captain America's solo deal. He's on the offense, and then you got the Hulk on the back end.
Here's Fred Warner. I need mixed emotions, and they win. Hotkeys, no go. I got it on my blend. It's playing.
Oh, it's still doing it? No, it's not doing it over there.
Try it again.
All right, let's try it again.
No, it's all right.
No.
We'll figure it out. Hashtag music.
We're gonna get this Fred Warner cut played for everybody out there.
Sorry, John, do you have it all? The Fred Warner cut there? He's got it. You got
You got to play it off of there.
It's all right. He'll give us a thumbs up here in a second.
You know what?
John and his mustache.
All right, here we go. Fred Warner on the mixed emotions in the win yesterday.
Mixed emotions for sure. The number one thing, don't ever want to take away from a win, first and foremost, especially, winning in the division in week 15. I mean, back-to-back years, that's big time. And that's the standard now, I remember last year, I got in front of the team and I said, we won the division, man, these don't come around often. Let's make sure we cherish this. And I immediately, regretted saying that because I'm like, man, no, like this is the standard. It's not doesn't come around. Like, this is the standard now. And so the topic of standard, defensively, we have a standard here. And today, obviously, we didn't live up to that standard, And so we got to make sure we come back and go to work this week because we got a team coming in who loves to run the football and they do it really well. So we got to be better.
Bosa, if you can, John. Yeah, I want to chime in on that. That's the standard now. Think about that. So Shanahan got here and John Lynch, they said they want to build this thing brick by brick, brick by brick, brick by brick. In that first season, they lose 5 straight games by 3 points or less. And I was like, boy, it's going to be a while. And they make the trade for Jimmy. And they win 5 straight. And then we expect playoffs next year. Then he gets hurt week 3 against Kansas City, and that season goes awry. We're watching C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins losing our hair. Then 2019, they get to the Super Bowl. Then they take a step back during the pandemic season. But it has become the standard. It has. They're there. 3 of the last 4 years going to the NFC title game, going to 1 Super Bowl, and this year they're on their way back to the playoffs. It has become the standard of winning the division title. And I love the fact that Trent Williams, Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner, leaders of this football team, are saying this is all good. It's all fine and dandy. But we're just getting started.
It's a championship mindset that you need. Just ask the Golden State Warriors when they would celebrate, quote unquote, the Western Conference titles, Bonte. They wouldn't really celebrate them. They said, this is fine. Get this health thing. I don't want to hold this. Get this away from me. Bill Belichick, Bonte, whenever he'd win the AFC, I don't want this.
I don't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it. Like this is one I play for. Tom Brady, I don't want that.
Right.
The 49ers are among those best teams that I just mentioned when it comes to it as a franchise. They just haven't done it this century. And if they could get this one, that really starts to build something special going on. But I do think something special is brewing right now with this team. And again, it starts with winning the division, and the next step is winning all home field advantage.
Yep, that's the next step.
The number one overall seed. Can they do that? They're in the driver's seat. You don't want any slip-ups, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think no trap games are ahead for them. You should be locked in. At this point of the season, you shouldn't have to get up for any games. You got Lamar Jackson, who's already won an MVP.
Oh, yeah.
You got the best team in the AFC. That's Christmas Day. They're not worried about that. Then after that, then if you would think you'd have a letdown, then it's the Washington Commanders, who I guess are sticking with Sam Howell. Ron Rivera is still coaching there somehow, some way. They're not firing him until after the season, I'm sure. That should be a game you should handle. Yep. Chase Young revenge game, potentially. Yep. And then you got the Rams, your division rival, who played you tough early in the year.
Yeah, but you own the Rams.
But you own the Rams in the regular season.
And bring them up here to Levi's Stadium. They get shook at Levi's. They get shook up at Levi's Stadium. So we'll worry about the Rams one game at a time, though. One game at a
Puka
time. You got the
Nacua
Ravens coming in.
sneakily, though, the Rams are...
Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Kerryon Williams, they're playing physical football. The Rams are coming.
Well, I think Puka could sneak back in and win that offensive rookie of the year if CJ's going to be out for a little bit. Like that's a fun little game that I'm watching, all these end of season awards. That's another time for another day.
Awards, huh?
I love award season. It's just fun because you get to talk about all the other games. In NFL, it's all encompassing more than any other sport. We're all locked into Jags, we're locked into Panther steak, but we're locked into all of that. Fantasy withstanding. I just love the sport, man. And then no better way to talk about it than on Victory Monday.
Nick Bosa, Big John, if you could pull it up. Nick Bosa, we didn't expect a perfect game today. Didn't expect a perfect game. Let's hear from Bosa.
We didn't expect a perfect game. We knew they were going to make plays. There's a few, I'm sure, on tape that we'd like to have back. But at this juncture, we are trying to win out, obviously, and that's the main goal.
That's the main goal. Just win out. Let's go to